Hello guys, welcome back to the Crew Calling All Units comparison test number 15. The dirt category winners battle, or whatever you want to call it. That's sort of what we are going to do here. I've tested in different categories, in 7 different categories to be exact. I've tested the dirt cars at 4097, and some were better than others, and so we sort of have 7 winners in the categories. But there were some of those battles were pretty close. That means that also other cars had done a pretty decent time. And that means that I've also taken those into the play. What does that mean exactly? For the muscle category we have the winner only, which is a Dodge Challenger. The same goes for the retro category, where we only have taken the Fairlady. The hot hatch winner, the Ford Focus. The bike winner, which was the Hypermotard, although it was close with the Monster and the KTM. So those 3 bikes are sort of equal winners, but I took the Hypermotard this time. From the utility, the BMW X6 won that category, but also the Touareg and the Cherokee were pretty fast, so I have taken those 2 as well into the battle. Supercars was pretty simple, only the winner there, because it was only 1 car category, the Rough RT. And for the sports category, which was won by the Rough, 3400, but pretty closely with the Lotus Exige, so I also have taken the Exige into the winners battle. This time on hood cam or helmet cam, and a bit more of an attack, let's call it that. More of a time attack this time, instead of just testing the cars against each other, which I was doing in the categories. That means that at number 10, the Nissan Fairlady. Now, this thing can be a bit faster if you put it on full assist. I have noticed in summit events and so. But I am playing on the keyboard on sport mode, and that's probably not the best mode for the dirt, but that is how I play. I will change it up once, and I will well, not just change it up, I will show the difference as well, because it is quite a difference for one particular car. But first we come up with what I call the 250 group. That will be cars that will do a time around 250, something like that. And then this thing was the slowest from that group with a 250 plus even, I think. Which is still about 4 or 5 seconds faster than I did it in the retro category, and there it was already 5 seconds faster than all the other retro cars. Because that's what it is in this video. They are all already winners from their category, so it's not like these are bad cars. So you can use a Fairlady even in PvP, although it is at number 10 here now, but no car is OP, in case someone wonders that. People are always asking for the best car, but it doesn't work like that. No car is OP in this game. A driver might be OP, but not a car. If you have a good driver in combination with a good car, then you probably have an OP combination, but give something like a Ferrari 458 to a bad driver, and give a Nissan 370Z to a good driver, and then there's a good chance that the Nissan 370Z will win. That is how it is. Just to point out, it's not only the car, also the driver, and preferably the combination of both will work best, of course. But if you're a decent driver and you come into a lobby with also decent to good drivers, and they all take out, let's say, the Ferrari 458 in circuit spec, then it's probably a wise idea to do the same. But if you're in a random lobby with some players who already noticed that they have made mistakes in the previous runs and such, yeah, then you can drive any of the top 5 or even top 10 cars. And for dirt, that means that you can use this Fairlady if you want. If nobody's taking the faster cars, why not? 251.6 for our number 10, but yeah, they're sort of pretty close together. The 250 group, let's call it that. That also means that the bike winner, in this case the Ducati Hypermotard. I changed to helmet cam, but yeah, I think I'm more used to the camera from behind lately, because to my own surprise I did a 250.6 in the bikes category, and the Monster did also a 251 I think, and the KTM a low 251, so those 3 bikes are pretty close. But in the category test, this one was the fastest at that moment. And since I only had one spot available in this battle for the bikes, I took the Hypermotard since it's the newest one. And but as you will see, I will actually do a slower time here this time. This is the only one though. All the other bikes in this winner's battle, or cars, will be faster than they were in the category test. The problem is, if you drive with this helmet cam, which I always used to do before the April patch, especially on the road, it works pretty good. You see where you're going and so on. But they have patched the bikes, and the dirt and the raid bikes, they kind of slide the rear wheel through the corners, and so you have a better view if you put the camera from behind, so you actually see what the bike is doing, and then you can react to that. Now you go into the corner, and sometimes it's too late to, like here I could have counter steer, smoothly slide through the corner. But if you don't counter steer, you sort of get understeer with these bikes, and that's a bit of a problem. Also here it lifts a wheel, which you cannot see as driving in this helmet. So for dirt and raid, the helmet cam is probably not the best camera view, but on the road it's not an issue. A few bad corners, and the result of that is that I'm slower than in the category test, but nevertheless. It's not a big deal because the bikes will not win the dirt anymore. For those who weren't in the game yet, that was not always the case, because before the April 2016 patch, the bikes were winning every single category: street, dirt, raid, performance and circuit. And good thing they have done a patch lately. Not sure what they patched, but for instance this finish bug is still there. That means if you do a couple of free drive challenges one after another, it takes sometimes quite some long time. It was okay this time, 5 seconds or so, but I have been waiting on some of these videos for 1 minute or more before the result screen showed up. That's sort of enough with the rant now. So 251.4 is number 9 for the Hypermotard. Although I did a 250.6 in the category test, but even then it would still be on number 9, because number 8 is faster. Number 8 is more specifically the Dodge Challenger, winner of the muscle category. Although it was close with the Camaro, this was a few tenths faster. But if you push both, then you will end up with this one as the winner. So, although I made some mistakes in that category run, I think, but I knew out of experience that this one is the fastest of the muscle cars in dirt, so I did a time of 256.6 and 256.4 or something like that, so it was pretty close. But it can go faster, even in these things, as you will see. Another one of these problems, if you're doing videos for a channel or for Twitch or whatever, conditions constantly change. Go from night to daytime, go from dry to rain all of a sudden. Although this is a winner's battle, so I try to keep it as fair as possible, yeah, but this time I had no choice. I started in the dry and halfway it starts raining all of a sudden. It was heavily raining before some of the runs, so I did wait for those to before recording those. So it might be that you see some signs from water being around on the track, although it is sunshine. That is if it was raining before I was recording. But this is a pretty heavy car with lots of power, so the rain does not have that much effect on it. Because it sort of set itself in the dirt, and not like it's gonna extra slide because of the rain. That can happen if you have like a light car or bike or so, but these are heavy solid machines. Rain and not has that much of effect on it. That's why I also sort of validated this run as being a good one. For the video. To 50.4, which is good enough for number 8. So that means 8. No, that's what I needed. 8, 9 and 10, the Challenger, the bike, and then the Fairlady. They might change in places because they're all doing a time around 250, 251. So they are sort of the 250 group. Which brings us to number 7. The Jeep Grand Cherokee. It only had a 3rd place in the utility category, but it was faster than some of the other winners, like the Fairlady and the Challenger, which also were winners of their category. But this thing was faster on a 3rd place in utility, and that is the reason why it is also in the winners battle. And with reason, apparently, because we already had 3 of the winners: the bike, the retro and the muscle, and this one is faster. So also an option to use. Especially the heavy V8 machines. For wheel drivers and such, I think they can steer sharper, they can throw them in the corner sharper. You also see comments very often by those people that they kind of love the muscle cars or the V8 cars in itself, and that's probably the reason. Play with the keyboard, you get stuck sometimes in the corners, and they just throw that car through the corner. Had a perfect example of it yesterday. Was doing some PvP on my second driver. Don't have all cars there, so I just, for instance, had a Mini and a Skyline in street. Rushmore was selected, and I got smoked by 3 guys, although they were ghosting, but they were all using the Impala because they were wall riding there. But even then, if I take an Impala with my keyboard there, it's not gonna be faster than my Mini. But for wheel drivers it is, because they can throw it in the corners. That car can wall ride, so they were even faster than the Mini on Rushmore. Although in heavy SUV, this thing goes around pretty smoothly. And we were going under 250, of course. At least. Whenever this game decides, and there is quite some video left, so I have fast forward here. Event finished. I think this one's the one where I had to wait almost a minute before the actually result screen tested up. Good thing they did a patch 2 days ago, isn't it? 248.1. Faster than some of the winners, so that gives it place number 7. Number 6 is the hot hatch winner, which is the Ford Focus. Did a time of 251 or so, I think, 251, 252 in the category test, but it was up against the Mini Cooper there, and yeah, in comparison to street, it was the other way around. This time the Focus was faster than the Mini, and quite a bit, 7 or 8 seconds I think. Just to point out that the Mini in dirt is not that good, and the Focus is better in dirt than in street. But this time a bit better use of the nitro, throw it around in the corners a bit more. So we are obviously not gonna do a 252 this time, because otherwise it would have been on spot number 10, but that's not the case. It is at number 6 at the moment. Small nitro boost, never use a full bar because it's pointless. Nitro is the most powerful in the beginning of the bar, so always let it recharge. And use it wisely. Coming out of corners, that's where you need the power. And try to avoid using nitro at the point where the car is going to change, because that's also kind of pointless. Change gear, that is. Especially this last section, that's sort of where this car sort of, let's say, having its rally roots. Although they're using the Fiesta lately in the World Championship, quite a while they have been using the Ford Focus as a rally car. But now they're using the Fiesta for in Ford. 246.9. We are going definitely down in the times. This is sorta, yeah. It's sorta hanging in between with the Cherokee, I guess, doing a 248 and this a 246. They're a bit faster than the 250 group, but they are slower as number 3, 4 and 5. 3, 4 and 5, they all do a time of 244, so pretty obviously these things can be used, and one time you will be faster in one and the other time you will be faster in the other one. But in this case number 5 came up as the Lotus Exige. Also here I haven't tested this one yet on full assist. I'm on sport mode as I mentioned before. Might be that there is a difference though, because this also has just like the roughs, a pretty strong NOS, pretty decent acceleration, although not as extreme as in the roughs though, but here and there it kinda, yeah. I can't go on the power early enough coming out of corners sometimes, because it understeers a bit. But if you have the full assist driving help on, then it helps steering you through the corners, and that might change it a bit. Like here you have a little understeer, so you have to correct again before you can actually go on the power again. Same here. Correct the car, throw it in again. It's like 1/2 that you lose all the time. But this is actually a pretty good car if you consider that it only has 2 specs, and also in performance it is a bit underestimated by some, I think, because you don't see it much in PvP, but it's a pretty decent car, especially on certain tracks. It can give a fight to all those Huayra users, because that's all you see in the in PvP. And the same goes for dirt. Although you see more and more of them, of these Exiges, if you go to PvP, dirt rate selected, you will see people take the Exige out. But it's sort of the same as in the street battle. The top 5 of this video, it was sort of the same with the street battle. Top 5 are cars that you can use in PvP or so. Like I said, you have the 244 group now, and this is a 244.4. At number 4, the Volkswagen Touareg. Was not the best SUV, but it was better than most of the winners of some of the categories. That is the reason why this car is in this battle here. This thing has 8 gears, and that really helps you in the dirt. Because it is short shifting all the time, it also means that it's very often on the limiter, but it always changes gears in as well up and down, and that means you have power all over the place, especially if you combine it with a bit of nitro here and there. while some of the other cars have only 5 or 6 gears and they sort of get stuck on the limiter. This thing changes because it has more gears to do, so it quickly has a shorter gear ratio. And it has quite some grip though. Bit of understeer though, so here and there you do have to go off throttle, even if it's for only like 1 or 2 tenths of a second. But like here, 4-wheel grip and up it goes again. That's one of those corners that was taken pretty slow by some of the cars, but pretty decent with this one. Same here, immediate grip, so we can go on the power again. But although you have always power, the acceleration itself, it is a diesel enginette after all. It's quite some torque, but the acceleration itself, So you will find yourself playing around with the nitro quite a lot to keep this car in some sort of rhythm. And if you do it like that, you get a pretty smooth run. Oh Jesus, look at this. From this point to this point, and here it eventually finished. It's more than a minute. 2:44.3. 1/10 faster than the Exige. But yeah, 1/10 of a second, not really can call that a difference. So they are kinda equal terms, at least on this track. And the same goes for this one. A little bit faster than the other two, but also 1 or 2 tenths, and that's it. So the rough 3400K. It's a tuned Cayman or a tuned Porsche 718. But it has the same strong acceleration and strong nitro boost like the rough RT. And this is a bit smaller, so for me, for instance, as a keyboard player, I kinda prefer this one over the bigger rough. Because it has good acceleration, this one, but it's not as strong as in the other rough. But the nitro power itself won't be that much different, I think. And just like the bigger rough, this is also a bit of a fight to handle. I'm on sport mode here, so which makes it even more difficult with the keyboard. That was a 1 second mistake at least there though. But I kept it in the video for the simple reason that this thing is already at number 3 and it's not really coming close enough to the number 2 and number 1. To do an extra run for that mistake. The reason I do this time attack or battle or whatever you want to call it on hood cam is pretty simple. For me it's just faster. If I drive with the camera from behind, the cars slide even more about, and that's why I also have slower times in the category test than in this battle that I'm doing now. 244.2. So that's 244.2, 0.3 and 0.4 for numbers 3, 4 and 5. So they are definitely close to each other. That brings us to number 2 and number 1. And that is a bit, yeah. Let's start with number 1, shall we? The Rough RT35. Keyboard, Sport Mode. A pretty smooth hairpin section, sort of what's going on, and now we come to the more rough terrain. I have to throw the car from one corner to another, and that's where you come into problems with this sport mode. With this rough on a keyboard especially, but also not only on a keyboard though. It is faster than the rough 3400, the Lotus Exige and the Jeep Cherokee, whenever it decides to finish. 241.7. We will come back to this video later, because a 241.7 is not the first time. So we come to number 2 now. BMW X6. The problem already here is at the start. It gets stuck in first gear because they have been messing about with the clutch buck and they fixed it, and now they have broken the automatic gearbox. And that means that for some cars you have a problem. That is more or less the case with the rough, and it's also the case with this one. At the start it gets stuck. The same goes for the drag trial, where you sometimes have to press the shift 2 or 3 times before it actually works. And if you do a stunt race on a bike and the landing doesn't go, let's say it's a bit hard of a landing, you get stuck into gears as well. So It's a good thing they fixed the clutch bug, but as usual they have fixed something and broken something else. And this time it's the gearbox, and that matters for some cars like this one. Pretty sure you lose at least half a second at the start already, because this thing keeps stuck in first gear. Eventually it decides to shift and actually move, but we had a 241.7 in the rough. Let's see what this one can do. Instant power all over the place, 4-wheel drive acceleration. Pretty smooth it goes around. We'll have to fast forward here again, but because of the finish bug thing. Here we go. Event finished. 241.1. We did a 241.7 with the rough RT in sport mode. So, in this case, if I would stop the video here, then the winner would be the BMW. But let's go back to this video and fast forward to somewhere here. Gonna repair the car, and we're gonna switch from sport to all driving help, or full assist as it's called sometimes. We're gonna start another video. There we go. We already see it at the start. You have the slightly steering help now, and that makes the car just not only steer sharper, but also well, it makes it less sliding. Although it still slides, but less than on sport mode, and that's where the difference is. And it's such a big difference, especially if you play on a keyboard. That I had no other choice than to put it out here in this video to point it out. Of course I also tested it on the BMW full assist, but the difference is no, it's not working for the BMW as it is for the rough. So even with the BMW on full assist, we will do a similar time, or maybe even a bit slower. It's still a handful to handle this thing, but it drives easier on full assist than on sport mode. It's as simple as that. and then people can mess about and comment on all over the place. Yeah, full assist is for noobs and so on. That might be so, but if this thing is 4 or 5 seconds faster on full assist than on sport mode, if you drive with a keyboard especially, yeah, then they can comment all they want. But then I'm changing. And I'm not the only one. Very often you see the yellow wheel next to the names, which means they are on sport mode, or even the red wheel, which means they are on hardcore mode. And a dirt race is selected, and you suddenly see the wheels disappear. That means that at the start they quickly change their settings to full assist. I'm messing about here at the end, but even that doesn't matter, because you already see it. 2:37.8, even with that mistake at the end there. It is just 4 seconds faster. And that is what it is. That brings this Ref RT35 still the fastest dirt spec. But you do, if you play with a keyboard, have to put it on full assist. If you put it on sports mode, it is still one of the fastest, if not the fastest, but you will have a handful if there are some BMW X6s around. That's sort of where it comes down to. But make no mistake, BMW X6, Ref RT35, they are pretty close as it is, and it can be used. Even the Ref 3400, Lotus Exige and the Jeep Cherokee are not that far off. The Jeep Cherokee, what do I say? The Touareg, I mean. Volkswagen Touareg. All three of them, so those are top 5 cars that you can definitely use in dirt. That was it for the dirt. I will see what I'm going to do next. Most likely I will jump to rate and keep circuit and performance, especially 85 performance specs. I need quite a lot, which I still need to upgrade from 1299 to 1497. We will see how I'm going to approach it, but it might be that I'm doing the rate cars next, because most of them I do have at 1497 already. That is for this comparison test series, because that's what I'm going to do. I've done street now, I've done dirt, but also performance, circuit, and rate will pass on the channel in this series. We'll see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.